and welcome to DFH Stadium for tonight's Sunday showdown here at Minor League Esports. We're up to week 10 now, 3 weeks remaining, including this one, until the end of the season, and everything is still all to play for. We have some great matchups lined up here, and we've already seen a great one over on the second channel, but let's get down to business. It's the mainstream, and I am your host, Fallen, and joining me today is one of the most enigmatic men I have never had the privilege of casting with. It's a GM that I took the spot of, but a friend that I hold dearly. It's Thunderballs.
What an intro. That's just a great piece right there. I'll take that all day.
And we've got a great series lined up for us today, Thunder, and you can tell us a little bit more about it. We've got a Foundation League matchup between the Jets and the Knights.
This whole night of matches on mainstream is an interesting setup, actually, because it's consecutive matches between the same franchises, 2 on the front and 2 on the back. So the front ones are between the Jets and the Knights. We start with FL. Very close race between these two teams. This is a super crucial match for what will decide their playoff outlook, seeding, berths at all, based on how lopsided it is one way or another. One team, the Jets, sit at 25-10, and the Knights 24-11. They're a game separating themselves in the standings for the division, numbers 1 and 2. So the Knights here are going to be hoping for a lopsided win in their favor, because that means taking the lead in the division, and that's very important heading into a playoff race.
Yeah, and really one of the main factors for them being the Jets being so dominant has been Meerkat, who we're going to get to see play tonight. 2.3 goals on average per game. Captain Kill is his partner, 1.85. These are incredibly high stats for Foundation League. The closest to them in competitor is not even playing tonight for the Knights, that being Soviet Shark, who is the highest goals and highest MVPR in the league for the Knights. Instead, we're seeing Hawkeye, who is no slouch himself on the offensive side of things, and Kyle Corndog, who is definitely a slightly more defensively minded and assistant-minded play style. How do you feel these styles of play are going to mash up with this offensive powerhouse in the Jets and a slightly more conservative Knights team?
I think it's really predicated on how hot the offense is for the Jets team, because a team like that, it's so hard to play an entire series at that kind of a clip, to keep up that performance consistently for a whole series without getting counterattacked upon. It just takes a really consistent performance, and that's either an on day or an off day thing. So the Jets have to have an on day for that reputation on paper to play out, and if they don't, the Knights can really capitalize here and take the lead in the division.
And as we get the players onto the field for game number 1 here tonight, I do hope you all have a wonderful viewing experience, because I'm guaranteeing this series is going to be a barnstormer. Everything to play for, where every game matters. It's the Knights, it's the Jets, and it's Foundation League. And the kickoff goes in favor of the Jets.
And possession stays with them for now. Killers, though, peeling, as Corndog's going to have first crack at this one. No, it's a 50. Let's drop down into the middle where Hawkeye sends it down into the Jets zone. Circling now is Hawkeye. Big aerial opportunity off the crossbar. Kyle Corndog with the follow-up, also off the crossbar. Maybe the third opportunity. And finally, the Nets, or the Knights, net one after a long stretch of pressure and bruising that crossbar.
Strong start to the night on commentary. We've already fluffed twice. It's brilliant, and it's brilliant gameplay as well on the field. A good offensive pressure there from the Knights, sort of going against what the statistics would have said coming into this. You'd think the Jets would have got off to a very hot offensive start, but decided to play a little bit more passive, and it's really not treated them well off of this first 30 seconds.
And Hawkeye, the one you saw really leading the charge and initiating on that attacking play, only 10 games played so far in the season. And Hawkeye really making a statement in these new games that they're showing themselves. That's another great chance off of a defensive mistake there.
Yeah, and really, it's a great capitalization to be in the position to be able to make that shot at such a short notice, and to put your team now 2 goals up inside the first 40 seconds. It is got to be a confidence booster and a nerve calmer sort of a performance. But the Jets looking to take one back there. Can't find the back of the net just yet, but you've got a feeling they're going to find the net sooner rather than later.
Almost found it with that bump, but not quite, and they're going to have to look again with the Knights heading back down the other way. Meerkat now underneath, looking for a centering ball. No second player, though, to answer. That's a huge shot off of the crossbar. Hawkeye's going to follow up, That hits high, and now it's Corndog's job to collect. This could be a big runner back the other way if Meerkat can get control of the ball. There's the dribble. Not really a threatening shot there, as now Hawkeye is going to collect boost in the corner. Meerkat handing the ball away there a bit to the Knights, but the Jets are maintaining control here. This is the longest stretch of offense they've had in the Knights zone, but it finally ends there after a long period.
And that was on target, and Hawkeye will find a hat-trick off of a very sort of lethargic clearance, and it will just sort of roll in off the inside of the post.
Took a long time to get there. I actually thought that was off of frame, but proven wrong, and that one sinks in. That's now Hawkeye's third in only a minute and 35 seconds played. That's a pretty strong pace here for scoring in this Jets team. To open things up, you would have expected that from the Knights instead, but the Knights are now finally trying to crack through. This could be a chance here for Killas. Corndog's trying to control off the wall, but it's back in their zone again. There's the bump. Killas gets it off of the corner wall. Where's Meerkat? Aerial there, shot! That was on target, but nicely saved away by the Knights. And their defense, it's only had to stand up a couple times, but it's been stalwart so far.
Yeah, and really, it's just keeping the Jets sort of in their midfield presence and not letting them get those balls in front of the net very often. They're making them have to try and play these sort of oddball strategies on offense to try and create any opening on that defense, and Kyle Corndog will send that one home with a thunderous aerial. 4 goals and not even the half a game gone. The Knights are on form tonight.
My goodness, the Jets, of these two team names, they should be the aerialists, but that was a fantastic aerial from Kyle Corndog, capitalizing on a great pop out into the middle. 4-zip, half the game play. This is not looking pretty for the Jets. And they've got to make a push here with Meerkat trying to get a pass out, but again, the Knights rebuff that. Here's Hawkeye with a chance. That's wide and sent back by Meerkat. Now off the sidewall. Has a little control. Opts to peel and take boost instead, and that gives Kyle control into the middle. Killas with the pass. Follow up as well. Where's Meerkat? Looks for the shot opportunity. That's high off the crossbar. Killas can't answer, and the Knights getting out unscathed yet again. They might not be out of it just yet, though. Here comes Meerkat once again looking for the aerial. And time again, the Knights finding the clears when they need to, even with sustained pressure from the Jets.
Stalwart defensive display, specifically from Kyle Corndog, who's been brilliant on his rotation back, really stopping the Jets from getting anything going. Playing passive when he needs to, but now, with limited opportunity, will again somehow come away with the ball and the clearance there, when all hope seemed to be going in favor of the Jets getting their first goal of this series.
And the Jets looking a little tentative here on diving in on challenges. Sometimes that conservative play can be rewarding in the long run, but right now they don't have the long run. They've got 1 minute and 20 left, and they got to score 4 goals, and it's not looking great for them here. Kyle centering one that gets sent down by Killas. Killas going to try to follow up here, maybe look for a centering pass. No, it's a shot instead. And Corndog sends that away. Now on the side wall, Meerkat sending that back into the mid, but Hawkeye's already on top of it. That's a big miss. This bounce has to be controlled by Meerkat off the back wall, barely there. Now it's 1 minute left, and 4 goals is a very tall order here for the Jets.
Yeah, and with the very good rotations coming out of the Knights, it's really hard to break down their defense, and I don't think I can see the Jets coming away with a Game 1 win here, but talk about a shift from the stat sheet. This game is not played on paper. We say it time and time again, and right now, the Knights, they're playing this one absolutely to perfection. There has not been a single wheel wrong from any of those two players, and they've been looking absolutely fundamentally sound in just taking this Jets offense, controlling it, and then taking apart their defense brick by brick.
Well, if ever there was going to be a league where the stat sheet might lie to you a little bit, it's going to be Foundation. Things can swing so often in a direction you might not expect, and boy has it in game number 1. Closing seconds here with the Knights, just trying to shut things down and burn the clock. Final chance here, maybe for the Jets, as they find a little bit of a momentum goal, but still you can count that as a very dominating performance as the Knights take game 1.
A good amount of aggression there from the Jets, something we didn't really see a lot of in that first game. The Jets found themselves too often waiting back and sort of trying to bring on an attack from the Knights and trying to maybe lead into a counter-attacking style of play, but they were never able to get the ball out of their own half when the Knights got into their offensive swing, and they found themselves too far down too quickly to really make that recovery. But again, we saw how good their aggression can be. They barely let the ball out of the Knights' half in the back end of that game, and it's something they're going to need to do more often if they're going to find a way to take this series to the Knights. But game one goes to the Knights, and really, I don't think this game could have gone any better for them.
No, and especially against a team where both players are inside the top 10 for MVPR leaderboard in the entire Foundation League. This is not a team that they were expected to walk over, quite the opposite, and still performing so well in game number one is a testament to the depth of the roster on the Knights team. You mentioned the stats early before we headed into the series where they're missing who is undoubtedly on paper their top player in the roster in Soviet Shark, but Hawkeye in particular clearly picking up the slack here and initiating on offense when they need to.
Yeah, the 1.6 goals on average isn't as high as the rest of the Jets roster, who have 1.85 and 2.3 respectively, but he has definitely proven to be the offensive powerhouse in this series so far, and I'm looking to see if he'll be able to continue that going forward here into game number two. We have the players on the field. We're just waiting for the all clear from the match official, and we'll get it going for you. Game number two, about to be underway. Can the Knights continue the momentum that they had all throughout game one, or is this the start of a Jets comeback?
Well, it's Jets control here in the middle of the field with Kyle diving way downfield, looking for a bump opportunity. Was, I believe, Meerkat in the front there. This is a very slow development on the play, almost resulting in a goal there. But great patience from Kyle in the end. Now it's up to Hawkeye. Get this out. Meerkat, great 50. That might be on target. No, it's dropping off the crossbar. Follow up here. Killas puts a banger of a shot on net and buries it for the Jets' second goal of this series.
Yeah, not the greatest touch there from Kyle Corndog, just teed it up in front of his net, and a little bit of hesitation there from them on defense. The Jets taking advantage. That's something we didn't see a lot of. A few mistakes coming out here in the first 30 seconds from the Knights, not able to find the clearances or the consistency that brought them such a dominant performance in game number one. It might be a sign that that may be the anomaly of the results in this series, but only time will tell. We're only 40 seconds in, but the Jets lead now.
Well, you mentioned the Knights' play and how spotless it was in game number one, but we see here the moment an opening presents itself for this Jets team to capitalize on a mistake, they do it. And that is scary here for the Knights team, who are on defense once again. Kyle's got no boost and is just trying to get out of the zone. Doesn't get boost or ball on that one, but Hawkeye bails them out. Now Meerkat with the follow-up off the corner. That's out in front. Killa's not getting the side flip shot. And it's the Knights back the other way. Corndog circling, getting the ball tapped over their head and bumped for good measure. But that opens up a spot here. Hawkeye off the back wall. Follows up on it. A weak shot's going to be wide, and Meerkat's going to backflip that away. Steals the boost, does Hawkeye, and puts Meerkat in a bad spot, but plenty of space for Killers to collect. The back wall. Meerkat missing out on that as Hawkeye sends it clear. And the Knights now, after that first slip-up, seem to have more settled into the rhythm they found in game number one.
Yeah, the midfield play has been a lot stronger since that goal went in, but again, the Jets, they're playing this physical style, and it's really starting to come about here for them. They're starting to get a little bit more possession, a little bit more offense. They're not being trapped in their own half, and they are looking a little bit more feisty when it comes to getting those shots on target. It feels like they are starting to find the rhythm that brought them to the top of their division as of this game.
Well, here's another chance, but Killo's way off the mark on that one. The wrong shooting angle is going to mean that's sent to the side wall. Now it's Hawkeye. That's an awkward touch. They're going to have to recollect. Just getting on top of that 50 and sending it into the Jets zone, but it's already back. Now ping-ponging are Kyle and Meerkat back and forth as Kyle looks for the center. Weak defensive touch. Hawkeye off the back wall. That's over top of one Jet. The other one getting the clear, though. Nice touch from Meerkat there as they grab the side boost. Killis on the side wall. Opts for boost instead. Leaves that ball to Meerkat, but they could be in trouble now. Kyle fighting to try and get a center there, but it's low boost in a few of these situations for both teams that meant the attack had to be cut short. Just disarray in front of the Jets net there. Killas coming in with a full head of steam, but missing on that crucial clear, and Meerkat just couldn't find a quality enough touch. That leaves a wide open net, and the Knights find their tie. This is obviously a much closer fixture than the last one that we saw, but it's going to be the Jets who are going to push next here. That's a high tap off the back wall. Killas trying to find that follow-up touch as Meerkat comes off of the side wall. Bit of an unfamiliar position for this FL level to play. They can't quite find the aerial there. Now it's Corndog. Sending it clear. That's off the side wall. Killas might try to 50 there, getting a decent touch. Both Jets players up. They seem to have gotten out of trouble. And no pressure there from the Knights on the double commit. They had to respect the aerial play, and that's something the Jets seem to have controlled between the two teams. Here's Corndog off the side wall. Meerkat sending it back into the zone for now. Kyle's collecting in the corner. No touch there. Corndog kind of getting a 50 just enough for Meerkat. Now it's into the middle of the field with Killas having a dribble opportunity. That's squarely 50'd. Off to the side here. Hawkeye's going to try and collect on defense. Awkward spot there for Hawkeye. These are tense moments now. The Jets barreling down but not getting the touch. Final opportunity for either team there. Collecting the boost is Hawkeye. And this is it. Corndog keeps it up. They're going to look for the centering pass, but that's dropped down by the Jets. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are headed into overtime in game number 2. It was very close between these two teams in a game that was a minor blowout for the Knights in game number 1. And here we go. Overtime, game 2. And with the Knights winning that game number 1, they drew level in the standings. Both teams now at 25 wins. Huge physical plays, almost opening up a chance there. There's the follow-up and the save again. The Knights getting out unscathed in a very close opening in this overtime.
I honestly thought the Jets had that one. The Knights had that one there. They had so much room there on the offensive side, but a little bit too long was taken. Meerkat would get back for the first. Captain Killer's back for the second. A quick reminder, Foundation League is Diamond 1 and below level of gameplay, so the quality will not be the same as a higher leagues, but the content and the stories are always going to be just as good, if not better. It's one of the things I love about Foundation League is how tense every single game, every single touch is, and right now you can feel the tension in the air. You could cut it with a knife. Both teams are not wanting to make that mistake that will cost them game number 2.
And whatever team scores this goal takes the lead in the standings and in the playoff race. This might be the biggest goal either team will score all season. In this overtime, you can really see the tension as there are a few whiffs on the board. There's another one. Kyle sending that over to the side wall, and now they're going to send back down the other way. Killas very deep on defense. Getting the clear. Who is it for the aerial? It's Killas. Down. No, the save is not there, and Killas drains that aerial to take the lead back for the Jets in the division standings.
Was wondering why he was playing so deep, and I think he just has a little bit of faith in his own ability to get the ball from one end of the field into the back of the net. The Jets will take game number 2 off of a great play from Killas, and they're right back in this series now after what felt like a very demoralizing and crushing game number 1.
And you know what? I could have easily seen game number 2 swing almost all the way the other way. Knowing the capability that the Jets have on that team, I half expected it to be blowouts both ways to open up this series as each team got warmed up. But this, I think, might be indicative of how this series could go for the rest of it. It's going to be very close between these two teams, and you can see the nerves playing on them as they have that very tentative and very deep positioning that paid off for Killas in that particular instance.
Yeah, and one of the things to note about this series specifically, about these two teams, the Knights are currently second in their division. They are qualifying for playoffs as of right now. However, if they are to lose heavily to the Jets, or if the Jets are to lose heavily to the Knights, the Express are not that far behind. They may not have picked up a great result over the Spartans, Spartans picking up their first series win in a 3-2 match off stream. but there is still a chance for either of these teams to lose their position in the playoffs to the Express if they aren't able to keep this series close. We've already seen a very tentative and very close start to this series. Both teams picking up a game win. That's exactly what they needed. We're not going to get a 5-0, but we could get a game 5. Best of 3 now for these two teams. Game 3 underway. Everything's still to play for.
As Meerkat and Kyle square off to open us up in this game number 3. Knights are in a heap of trouble here with Meerkat on top of that ball. Killer's looking for the follow-up. It's a high shot off the crossbar. Still in danger, but Hawkeye, well done to clear that. Still, the Jets are pressing. Great touch off the back wall. Killer's positioned so deep yet again. Not working out for them that time. Now the Jets are circling. Big aerial from Meerkat. No contest from the Knights defense, who seemed like they were just out of boost.
Yeah, Kyle couldn't get up for that one, and Meerkat launching all the way from his own half, just dunking that one in. 115 kilometers per hour, as everybody knows, the correct unit of measurement, as metric is better than imperial. And the Knights, they find themselves behind again here, 2 games in a row. They have conceded the opening goal. They might be able to get an equalizer though, but the Jets defense will hold for the moment.
For the moment, but still being tested. Kyle on the sidewall here is going to try to keep things in their zone. That's not a great touch, though. Now here's an opportunity for Meerkat. There's the flick. Picture perfect off the crossbar, and that's 2-0 for the Jets.
An absolutely beautiful flick from a Foundation League player. It's that level of quality of player that has brought them to the top of their division. And if you did enjoy that play, I don't know why I said dud. If you did enjoy that play, feel free to clip that and send that over to the Discord in the Play of the Week channel, or over to us on Twitter at MLE Esports GG with the hashtag Play of the Week, because that one could easily win a man a case of Balls Guarana, and that one could easily win one back for Killers as well.
Well, if you clip the broadcast, you might get 2 goals for the price of 1 on that Play of the Week, because Jets just found another one really quickly. Killers with a very speedy follow-up aerial to bury the third, and this is very much the Jets team that we touted on paper coming into this match, and now the Knights have got to be on alert. Okay, never mind. They're more than on alert. They're going Bardowski back the other way with an answer of their own. What a goal.
Yeah, the Hawks? I see Hawkeye and I thought Hawks. The Hawkeye has been the offensive sort of instigator for the Knights most of this series. Feels like Kyle Corndog has been a slightly more passive, or almost that playmaker role that we sort of expected out of Hawkeye, but Hawkeye has been finding the back of the net consistently and has now brought this series back to just 1 goal. What is going on?
When it rains, it pours, I guess. We saw 1 goal, we waited a while, and after the next one happened, they just didn't stop happening, and suddenly it's 3-2 Jets. That's only 1 minute and 8 seconds of this game that has transpired, and it is fireworks. Speaking of which, from here on out. And now it's the Jets that are in their defensive zone. Unless a goal is scored in the next 2 seconds, we'll see the longest unbroken stretch of play we've seen in quite a while. It's Hawkeye on the sidewall. This is Meerkat now controlling. That's a decent 50 into the Knights zone. Opting for the slow game, but Hawkeye's having none of that. Killis is keeping it in. Hawkeye having also none of that one, and this is strong midfield defense. The Knights doing a good job of keeping the Jets from getting too close to a scoring opportunity.
Hawkeye been playing an absolutely brilliant role, almost playing as a defensive midfielder almost, just keeping himself back far enough that he's able to make the challenge, but also making sure that he's not overcommitting on any challenge. He's managing himself and his positioning well. However, a missed touch there will be costly as Meerkat will send it home. 4-2 for the Jets.
You got the sense Hawkeye was in some hot water. The catch was not great, more floating on the back of their car. And that just loses all control on the dribble play, and they were left really handcuffed was the other defender, Kyle, in net there, trying to wait and see what would happen on the play. But what happened was a Jets goal, and now that's a 2-goal lead restored for them, but they might be in trouble here. Hawkeye is going to follow up, and again, never a lead opening up to more than 1 as the Knights answer back very quickly to the Jets goal.
I was very worried when it went to 3-0 for the Jets within such a short period of time. I thought, okay, we may be about to see a repeat of game number 1, but inverted. No, instead the Knights have decided to give us a series, and they are throwing everything on this offensive side of things. Kickoff goals galore, and if it works, keep doing it. Right now they have been brilliant off of the kickoff. They've been able to put down any sort of offensive consistency that the Jets have been putting on. They might look for another goal here if they can find the angle, but a good defense from Killers will keep that away. The Jets, they need to find some level of consistency on defense. They're allowing the Knights too much time to set on their own offensive sprees, and they're just taking the first player out and then beating the second one 2-1 half the time. The Jets, they need to find that consistency on defense, otherwise they're going to drop more goals than they can score.
Well, Meerkat has been that role player so far. It looks like they continue to be, but that is a big miss in the middle of the field. Killers is going to collect and bail out their teammate, who is undoubtedly very thankful for that. Meerkat doesn't get the 50 into the middle. Instead, it's Hawkeye's ball now. That's a bounce off of the corner wall that Killers can handle fairly easily. Now follows up and gets the side boost as well. Killers is going to look for the center here. Going slow instead, not getting the angle on that ball, but Meerkat's going to keep it live. Popping over top, no, Hawkeye just getting a piece of it. Killers is following up, and that's off target as well. The Jets have the spin cycle going here in full effect, and finally a big clear from Hawkeye. That could have been a very scary 2-goal lead opened back up by the Jets, but instead the Knights get out in some strong defensive rotation.
Yeah, and it wouldn't have been off of the back of a mistake from the Knights. The Jets would have just scored that goal on their own merit. They've been playing brilliant offense. There is no person in this call that will deny it, as Hawkeye will squeeze that one in with a pull shot. And we're all tied up here with 1:13 to go.
Hawkeye using every solid object available to them. Car, post, wall, you name it. They're going to get that ball in the net and tie the game, and that is a crucial goal here. 1:13 left to go. Tie game. We are staring down the barrel if there are no more goals of another consecutive overtime here, as it has gotten so tense between these two teams, and it remains so. That's kicked into the middle where Kyle is going to try to boom a shot on net, but that's back in the corner. Meerkat grabs the side boost, gets a decent 50 there into the middle of the field. Killers is going to get the shot. But again, Hawkeye cutting that shot off at the outset. They're not letting the ball get close to the net, and that's kept them alive in this game.
Yeah, Hawkeye has been an absolute godsend for the Knights. Every time that they've required a goal or they've needed a defensive stop when the play is starting to mount against them, he's been there. He has been so consistently good with minimal mistakes. Not completely perfect. I mean, no person can be fully perfect, as Kyle almost dribbles that one home himself. It feels like he has been doing everything he needs to keep the Knights in this series and keep them competitive, and really, so far, would have to take home the MVP award for this series.
Trying to make a case for that now is Hawkeye in the front end, stealing the boost. Meerkat is way up top with an aerial there that's a bit errant. Kyle's going to send one last effort here on net for the Knights. Ooh. Oh, not getting the timing on the bounce there. That was a goal had there been just a fraction more of a second, but we are indeed heading to a consecutive overtime. And after that lopsided game number 1, it has been as close as any series can be between these two teams.
Yeah, the Jets working their way back into it after a very poor performance in game number 1. Had a great ending to that game. That almost found its way in. Good defense from Hawkeye. The pass back will come out from Killers, but the Jets, they've found their way back into this series. Now they need to make sure they're putting away games that they've been leading. They can't afford to fall behind here in the series again, especially after looking so good at the beginning of this game. It would feel like a kick to the gut, and they cannot afford it in terms of their playoff hopes. They need to start taking control of this series, but the Knights, they're putting on a performance here on the defense, and they keep coming forward with offensive pressure. It's so back and forth, I don't know who to call for.
Neither. At this point, both teams having fantastic chances that were steered aside by solid defense, and it's the Knights taking their next crack, but the Jets, they send it downfield. This might be an awkward bounce here, followed up by Meerkat. And Hawkeye, again, as they have so often, getting the 50, but missing that one in the middle of the field, and now Kyle's in trouble on the back end. Killers, maybe looking for a ground pinch into the middle there, but Kyle's going to clear that. To the corner. Meerkat doesn't get the 50, that's back into mid. Killers in a big amount of trouble. No, the follow-up not there from Hawkeye. And after so many solid attempts at the ball, their final big miss comes at a time that could have given them back the divisional lead there.
Yeah, and they just couldn't find a way to get the connection on the ball, and now we'll pay for it dearly. Meerkat drives it into the bottom corner. Nothing you can do to keep that one out. the Jets take game number 3 and they take the lead in the series in a not a convincing fashion, but a fashion in which they felt like they should have gotten that win before we even went to overtime.
Well, they cashed in on what they felt they earned earlier in the game, and the Knights, boy, was that a huge opportunity missed there by Hawkeye in the late stages on that open net. And if you can't capitalize on opportunities like that enough times in a game, sooner or later you're going to end up getting burned, and they did very quickly here, did the Knights. With the Jets regaining control of this series, but only barely. It is so tight between these two, and you could easily see it going to a game number 5 if the Jets can push back the other way in game 4.
And if you look below me at the stats, and if you look below both of us, you'll see that the Knights have been a one-man show for the majority of this series. It has been Hawkeye all over the field, doing all of the heavy lifting. Kyle being a very support-oriented player, but not really creating anything himself on offense. And then on the opposite side of the field, you have the Jets, who clearly, specifically on this game, I just decided to brain fart on that wording, I apologize. Meerkat being the offensive powerhouse, and then Captain Killers being the defensive stalwart. Both players having that simple rotation of knowing one man goes forward, and then if the need be, send the second man for the follow-up. But they haven't had to need to change that formula ever since game number 2, with that 1-1 sort of play style with one man forward, one man back. It hasn't needed to change, and so far the Knights haven't found a way to beat it. It's game number 4. The series is on the line in this one, and the Knights need to find a win here.
And that 1-1 style, you could see that find a lot of success in this foundation level of play, where it doesn't take as much of a team's resources to beat a defense on a team. There are just more mistakes happening, and you can find yourself openings without having to send both players and really get in on offense and or defense. So you'll see lopsided stat lines like that between teams more commonly in foundation, and you saw it there with Hawkeye really doing a lot of the heavy lifting, trying to lift this one on net. Big time aerial looking for the dunk on Meerkat, but that's not going to work out. And now we're underway here in game number 4. Hawkeye trying to find a pop that'll disrupt this Jets defense. I fell victim to the same trap. I saw Hawk and I said Hawks. There you go. You can consider yourself absolved for your early mistake. And here's Kyle off the side wall. Oh, that's a big miss from Meerkat. That's even on target. And Kyle just has to walk it in. They do so. And the Knights take the first lead of game 4.
Kyle Corndog, he may have heard us on stream. He may have heard us say that he's the one player not really doing too much in terms of overall playstyle. Finally getting, I believe, his second goal of the series. His only other goal coming in game number 2, that one goal that the Knights scored in it. And now, maybe looking to try and correct the stat sheet slightly, saying, no, don't worry about Hawkeye. I'm the guy to be watching. I'm the unknown package on the field. I'm the guy that can get the goals and get the saves and get the assists. I can do everything. I'm the all-round player. And really, I mean, he hasn't proven that wrong. Yeah, and he's doing an amazing job with that carry downfield. That's another goal for Kyle Corndog, and it's 2 goals for the Knights.
Well, Hawkeye had about 5 or 6 chances at getting possession of that ball that was being dribbled in the corner by Meerkat. And the moment Kyle subs in to take a shift, it's a goal within 5 seconds. So Kyle clearly feeling it in game number 4, and this is just what the Knights needed. A dual-pronged attack here is leading them to a 2-goal lead, and the Jets have got some work to do here. But it's the Knights on attack again. Now Hawkeye, the other piece of that puzzle, almost getting it over top. Meerkat's going to try and clear off the back wall. Kyle is up. That's 50'd though, as Meerkat keeps it out. Hawkeye collects boost in the corner. This will be a tricky play off the back wall. There's a demo though. That's a crucial demo. It's so important to take out that final player who's going to have that follow-up touch, and Hawkeye right back on the counterattack, burying the Bardowski once again. We've seen a few of those this series.
Yeah, and specifically from Hawkeye, I think that's his 3rd bar down. That's the hat trick of them, and it's the 3rd goal for the Knights. And so far, they've not really looked for those team players. They've actually looked for solo players more than the pass in field. And really, it seems to have been working out for them. Playing that solo style, they're able to take the Jets' defense and open it up quicker than if they were looking for a pass into the midfield. And really, that's exactly how you break open a 1-1 defense. You look to beat one man, then the other, as Kyle Corndog will make a great save on the goal line before being bumped into his own net by his teammate.
Well, they're doing it on defense too, are the Knights, and keeping it a clean sheet for themselves so far. The Jets doing their darndest to try and get some foothold in this, but they're being bumped back into their own end. That's a weak touch that Kyle should be able to capitalize on, and they make no mistake on the 4th goal. Knights really running away with this one in the first half.
Hat-trick hero already for Kyle Corndog, has that 3rd goal. Just right place, right time, able to read the mistouch so quickly. It's a level of commitment to believe that the opponent isn't going to be able to get that touch, knowing that the other member of the Jets roster, oh, go on, Kyle, get it. There's a 5th. Absolutely brilliant read off the sidewall to beat out the first man. You're not even done talking about 1 goal and they've scored another.
Well, they being Kyle, who is just piling on the offense at this point. Hawkeye found 1 for themselves, but this is the Kyle Corndog show in game number 4, and the Jets are reeling. We haven't seen them gain any iota of control in this game, barring that 1 dribble in the corner, and that's troublesome for this team that really, if they go 3-2 in this series, which the Knights are now threatening with this 5-0 lead, they're tied in the division, and as close as it is game-wise between these two teams, it'll be even closer divisionally if that series result ends up panning out.
Yeah, I believe the Express lost 2-3 to the Spartans. This will now lead to week 11. Regardless of the result, neither team can be confirmed for the playoffs. However, a close series will make it so that both teams look more capable of making it to the playoffs, and it will make it very difficult for the Express to make it. They were 6 games behind. I believe the Knights roster of Corndog and Hawkeye and their 3rd player, whose name I have genuinely forgotten, and I apologize to their entire team. Soviet Shark. I believe Mukasa's also on that team as a reserve, if I remember correctly. There's a lot of good players on the Knights roster, and that's why they're 2nd, but they are going to require the Express to do a miracle now for them to find a way into this playoff hunt. Both of these teams cementing themselves into those top 2 positions. And I love how passive the Knights are. They're not even going forward, and they're finding ways to open up the Jets' play, and they will find a 6th goal. Kyle has 5 to his name in this 1 game.
That was a pretty solidly executed passing play that the Jets were trying to set up there, but you're right. The positioning on the Knights just never overextending until they're truly threatened, and they were there by that passing play. They challenged correctly, got the full win, and it's 6-0. This is not a scoreline that I saw coming for the remainder of this series after game number 1. I just didn't expect it to be that lopsided one way or the other. But here we are, with the Knights carrying all of the momentum. Surely heading into game number 5 here, I can't see the Jets mounting a comeback.
Well, I mean, we didn't think the Jets would find a way back after that horrific game 1, but they found a way to win 2 games back-to-back in overtime. It feels like the Jets are more composed when there is only a goal in it, but a great shot there from Meerkat will force a good save from both Knights players, and they will make another one there off of that shot from Killers. But really, it feels like the Knights have only been able to win in blowouts and not been able to win those games where 1 goal will make the difference. It may be a pattern. Oh, what a send from Hawkeye from the midfield to make it 7-0.
Hawkeye living up to their namesake there. Just laser pinpoint accuracy in the top of the net. They have been sending top bins for the large majority of this series, and that continues to be no exception. What a shot there to make it 7-0. I mean, the Jets, do they want the Brazil at this point? Do they want to just leave it 7-0? It's not a pretty picture either way. They're going to do their best here to maybe get one big-time aerial. Almost happening there. That's sent away by Kyle. That's going to drop. It stays 7-0 for the Knights, who send us to a deciding game, owning all of the momentum in the series.
Yeah, and to think that in that game there were some really good plays. You had the carry play from Kyle Corndog in his corner. You had the goal, I'm trying to remember all of them off the top of my head, the placement of Hawkeye off of the 7th goal, and then of course the one crossbar and down and on the goal line, and it just slowly rolled over. There hasn't been a missed axle in that entire game, and each of those plays could have gone up for play of the week. Again, I will remind you, if you do want to submit a clip for Player of the Week, clip it in Twitch, send it over to the Twitter at MLE Esports GG with the hashtag Player of the Week, or send it into the Discord channel in MLE. It is under the community tab called Play of the Week. The winner of Player of the Week will get a free case of Balls Guarana shipped to them, and it's a wonderful beverage. Don't you think so, Thunderballs Guarana?
Oh boy, I knew that was coming at some point, but honestly it is. I actually have a kind of a storied history with Balls Guarana. I used to buy it when I was much younger, and I've enjoyed it for a long time. It was funny to see it reappear in my life after so long with this wonderful partnership with MLE, but you're not wrong. It's a great energy drink, and it's for a great cause, this Play of the Week situation that we've got going here, because man, it really motivates players to hit some nasty stuff on stream, and we've been seeing it from both of these teams so far.
And whilst I continue to drink my nondescript caffeinated beverage and wait for my own cases of Balls Guarana, we'll get ready for game number 5. The series is on the line here, ladies and gentlemen. The winner takes all in this one. The Knights, they're going to take top of the division for, I believe, the second time this season. The Jets looking to maintain it. Can they find a way to break down what seems to be an almost unstoppable Knights roster currently after game number 4, where I feel only seconds away from seeing them do so? Wow, I blessed myself with that commentating call, as Meerkat will take the lead early for the Jets.
Oh, what a just deftly handled dribble there. Beautiful sweep underneath the ball to just get a slight pop on it over that final defender. That's the kind of control and composed play that you expect from this Jets team, who sit atop the division, and they're showing that they're not going to go out of this series without a fight. Meerkat, though, leaving that ball behind. Hawkeye with a huge 50. Where's Kyle to follow up? No second player there. And again, we're seeing that split positioning. It's 1-1 for both of these teams, where the follow-up effort is always a little bit too far behind. But both teams seem to be pretty content with that for the time being. That could be very scary, though, and that's an errant touch that's going to lead to a tie goal here for the Knights.
I believe it was Captain Killers, to make the touch. Meerkat also bit on that touch and thought that he would have a better position for it. I think he may have actually gotten a better connection on the ball than Captain Killers, and the Knights, through hook or by crook, have found themselves back in this series, back tied up, 1 goal apiece after the first 50 seconds. This series is still anyone's to play for, but if history serves it anything, I think the Jets might take this one.
Well, they've been known to take these close games in this series. They're continuing to push here and try to add on a little bit more. That's a great touch. Sent away by Kyle. Standout performer from game number 4. Answering on defense. Here's Meerkat. Trying to get an angle on that. Fishing a little bit on the side wall there. Hawkeye steals boost. Peels for the ball. Kyle bombing downfield here. Minimal boost in the corner. They're going to have to look for the physical play. They get the demo, but the ball just not in the Knights' control. We haven't seen too many, if any, goals coming off of direct physical play. And you know what? With a game that is this crucial for both of these teams, I doubt that we're going to see too many overcommits where players are going to be diving in to follow up on a play like that.
Yeah, only 1 or 2 handfuls of mistakes. There's a physical play from the Jets. That might tee up a shot, but good clearance away from both Knights players who bit on that defense, not trusting that that one was safe. But overall, both teams are playing a lot more conservatively. They're not going all out on the passing offensive plays. There's one attempt from the Jets, but they're doing so in a way where they've already got a man back. Captain Killer's the first man. Meerkat also able to get back in time before Hawkeye had any control. That level of rotational awareness and control of your own rotations and making sure that you're not getting caught out on those counterattacks is the reason this has been such a close run series half of the time. Whilst the other half of the time, the Knights have been able to open up the defense like it's a wonderful bottle of Balls Guarana.
Well, as the game gets close and tense like this is where the Jets have thrived. The Knights need to be careful. Oh, speaking of careful, Meerkat's got to be careful about missing that touch. This opens up an opportunity for Kyle to center, but Meerkat, brilliant retreat there to get the first piece of that defensive touch. Now Killa sends it into the corner. They collect the boost and hand off control to Meerkat, but they were not in a position to play that one, and now it's the Knights. Hawkeye can't get the dribble over top. This is a floating ball, might be capitalized upon, but Meerkat, the shooting accuracy, not there yet as they look for a follow-up physical play. Kyle Getting a ball banged towards the net as Hawkeye sends it way downfield. Here's the follow-up. Kyle into the middle, and Killers is going to clear again. This is a huge, unbroken stretch of play. Neither team finding enough control in the offensive zone to get a goal for themselves and go ahead.
Yeah, the Knights looking for those counter-attacking plays. The Jets just looking to break down the defense with consistent and continued pressure, and neither team really finding a success with either strategy. Whilst both have had a goal, they've not been able to find the second, and you feel like the next goal will sort of take this series. It is that sort of a tense series where one goal will break the momentum of the other team. There's an opportunity and a good save from Meerkat to keep it out, but the pressure also still mounting. The Jets, they're not out of the waters yet, and that one almost found its way into the back of the net. Hawkeye cannot score just yet. I think he wants to take this one to an overtime, you know.
I wouldn't. I certainly would not if I were the Knights, because they have not fared well in overtime so far. So I think they want to take this one in regulation, and they are doing their darndest here. Getting control in the offensive zone. That's a pass that Kyle is not going to dive on. They're going to wait for the follow-up. But now the Jets have control in the Knights' end. Meerkat gets it over top of one. Kyle's got to make the touch. That's a great clear off to the side wall. Achilles interrupts. Meerkat, the corner. Touches mid. Hawkeye needs to make the touch. No commit though there. You can see how tentative these teams are to fully dive in on the play.
Yeah, I thought that one would have been game, set, match. Had Captain Killers, I believe it was, wanting to commit on that ball, did actually commit. That one could have found the back of the net. The ball will touch the floor. Game number 5, overtime to decide it. It couldn't be more perfect. It is an actual repeat of game number 2, right in front of your very eyes. And already the Jets looking to end this one, and they will do. The physical plays that we brought up so many times have finally found them success. It is 2-1 to the Jets. The series goes 3-2 to them, and they take top of their division by a 2-game advantage.
And the Jets take down a series where they lost the previous game for 7-0. And they bring the momentum back to take control of this game enough to give themselves an opening in overtime and take it. The Knights surely heartbroken after dropping that series that they felt they controlled, but the Jets, full credit to them for an admirable performance in the deciding game to keep themselves on top of the division.
And with that, the stats now read as thus. The Jets move to 28-12 games record. The Knights go to a 26-14. They now trail by 2 games to the number 1 team in their division. However, they do extend their lead over the Express. I believe it is still a 6-game lead currently over them, as the Express also picked up only 2 games in their series against the Spartans. It feels like now, as long as they're able to get consistent performances, both teams are almost dead set for playoffs.
Certainly does feel that way, and this close series, as you said, really makes it mathematically very difficult for the Express to weasel their way into a playoff berth at this point, especially with the game result that they had for themselves today. So this paints a picture of the Knights and the Jets making cases for themselves in playoffs, and that means when you see these end-of-season matchups getting so close between teams that could end up being opponents later in the playoffs, it just sets up these juicy storylines that you want to see play out as we head into the postseason.
Yeah, and as we look forward to the rest of our series today, we do have another Jets versus Knights matchup, but this time it's over in the Academy League, as the Academy League Jets will take on the Academy League Knights. It would be weird if they played different leagues of their opponents, now that I think about it. Really didn't need to say... I didn't need to say Academy League that many times, did I? Either way.
We'll give you a pass on this one, it's fine.
Alright, but you've given me a lot of passes so far. Hopefully the Jets can pass the test of the Knights in this upcoming game, but do stick around. We're going to a short intermission before that series. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back with some great Sunday Showdown action.